Chris, I'm not sure Lamar Jackson needed to remind anybody of just how good he is, but in a year where he's very likely going to win his second MVP award, puts up 250 all-purpose yards, rushes for 100, 4 touchdowns on the day. I mean, what strikes you the most about this guy and how difficult he is to deal with?
Well, I think he has improved, and obviously when he's healthy, it makes a difference. I like his decision making more and more when I see, and by that I mean when to run, when to scramble to throw, how he stresses a defense, and he gets played a lot of different ways. The spy version, the extra lineman, the extra DB that comes in to kind of chase him and whatever you want to call it. And we saw it evidenced in that Houston game. I mean, I always worry, and I think you and I talked about this when you're a top seed, and not only do you have that week off to rest, but then you don't play in the final regular season game, and so it takes you a while to get up to speed a little bit. I'm not taking anything away from the Texans, but that's kind of what it looked like with the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. And then once he had his little incident at halftime, apparently we got fired up and again emerged as a leader, but showed you all the things he could do. And I thought that the Texans' defensive game plan too was pretty good against him. But it's like you can only hold him for so long or contain him for a certain amount of time, and then he's going to do something to break your back. And as I said, the decision making too makes it. He used to kind of force throws, and still once in a while he's going to, like any quarterback, overthrow some things. But I think he's just so much wiser about it, and he's got some better receivers to go to. I think a higher level quality of receivers than he's had in the past.
I'm glad you mentioned the part about the Ravens getting off to a little bit of a slow start. It's a tie game at halftime, missed opportunities, and we've seen it. We saw it this weekend. The Niners held on for dear life against the 7th seed. The Lions got a great fight from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It looked like that was what we were headed for in Baltimore. And then the Ravens just put their foot down in the second half and just pulled away. How impressive is it to see them flex their muscle like that on a weekend where there were so many very tight games?
Yeah, and it wasn't just Lamar Jackson. It was obviously it takes a team, but I got to compliment too the Ravens defense. We know what the numbers say and how good they've been all year, how they lead in sacks and go through certain categories. But they also, and they were a few guys went in or out on certain plays. But Stroud didn't play like a rookie all year. He didn't play like one in their first playoff game when they needed the win to get in. And that was a very, very good offense. And so they knew they could take away the run. That was something the Texans had problems with earlier. But then Singletary had come on. They held them. I think the total rush yards were 30, 35, whatever it was. It was below 40 yards in the game. And so Stroud, and then they really rushed Stroud in a number of different ways. And I think you saw that defense too. Kind of, in fact, they kept him obviously out of the end zone. The punt return was the big play. Even though Stroud made some big plays with some of his receivers, he was really running for his safety. It seemed the entire course of the game, and they did that without giving up the big play. Which is what the Texans, when Stroud got hot, he lost Tank Dell, but with Nico Collins and even Dalton Schultz, he was able to still make some of those big plays downfield. So that was impressive. That second half was more representative of what the Ravens are, and that's how they're going to have to win. And because their defense is so good, and then the run game, they ran for over 200 yards, obviously 100 of that from Lamar Jackson. Then they control the clock, and it frustrates the opposition. So that's the part we saw in the regular season when they're up to speed. Now I think they are going to have, that next round is going to be a very difficult challenge. It's going to be a step up from Houston, a more experienced playoff team and quarterback. And I think you'll see Lamar Jackson rise to the occasion a little bit more when he has to. He'll probably have to throw for more passing yards, and I think he'll be confident in doing that. And that's something I've noticed too over the years, and we saw this with Mahomes and Andy Reid, the head coach who normally might think one way, he'll trust his quarterback or offense because of his core. Hey, you want to go for it? We'll go for it. You make the call on this, going for 2, or whether you want to run this or throw this on 4th and 2, whatever. And that's a confidence builder that I think the rest of the team sees. And we've seen that with Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson. And in the playoffs, obviously the stakes get a little higher.